All right, guys. Well, as Big Papa sits there and potatoes at us, let's go talk about the new Fat Boy. Good looking bike, I gotta say. Hey guys, welcome to Rolling with T-Bone. If you're new here, welcome in. We invite you to check out this video and check out some of our others. If you like what you see, maybe consider subscribing to our channel. If you're old here, welcome back. You know what's going on as we dive into tonight's episode. I hope y'all enjoy. All right, guys. As we head out on Big Papa, on what's supposed to actually be a sunny day, I'm telling you guys, we're right here at the end of May at the time of shooting this video. It has rained here in Blue Ridge for the last 6 weeks straight. Been nothing but rain. Hope I got my mic position good. But anyway, but we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about Harley-Davidson's newest rollout for the Icon series. And guys, I think Harley got it right this time. If you haven't noticed or haven't looked, I'm sure it's all over the internet now. I haven't shot a video on it yet because I've just been watching the feedback on it. Of course, Harley-Davidson went back to the well, and I talked about it in some of the other Harley-Davidson videos that I've shot here, especially over the last couple of months. Harley, I think, is going to get back into the Willie G business, and if they're smart, that's what they'll do, because you can't deny the popularity that the Willie G Davidson era had, not only on the design of motorcycles and what they would become, but the future and the culture as well. So Willie G introduced the Fat Boy in 1990. Now, most of y'all will remember, my age anyway, Gen X, maybe a little, some of the late birth baby boomers who paid attention to the movie industry back in the 80s and 90s. You will remember the movie Terminator 2. Of course, we saw Arnold Schwarzenegger ride out on a Fat Boy during the big chase. And in that instant, the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy became interwoven not only with movie culture, but it also became interwoven with motorcycle culture. And I mean, y'all heard me mention it before in other videos talking about the Fat Boy. This is easily the most identifiable motorcycle Harley-Davidson has. The Fat Boy is just such an iconic piece of history. But I tell you what, guys, we're going to dive further into it, but I got to go over here and get some juice for T-Bone, some juice for Big Papa, and then we're going to see which way the road takes us, and we're going to talk some more about this icon that is celebrating now its 35th anniversary. If you didn't feel old, now you do. All right, guys, so we have escaped the madness of Copper Hill and McKaysville, and we have made it to new asphalt. Somebody told me that one of the old roads around here had been paved a little while back, and I can't resist it when it comes to riding on new asphalt. I gotta go give it a ride. But anyway, a road y'all haven't been on, this is called McGeetown Road. But anyway, now the Icon Fat Boy that has come along, it's not just, you know, a fat boy for the sake of being called a fat boy. This is actually based on the special model that came out in 1990 called the Grey Ghost. Now, what made the Grey Ghost more unique than the regular factory Fat Boys was of this silver frame, yellow accents, and a couple other little odds and ends that were changed out and made different. But I have watched on Professional Monkeys channel. I have watched a couple of them. I think I watched Blockhead, which him and Professional Monkey were there the same day. And I think they were in California at Matt Laidlaw's dealership riding it. But man, what a good looking bike. You know, the Fat Boy, the Heritage, the Softail Springer, all of those bikes right there, as well as the Wide Glide and the Super Glide, those are vintage Willie G creations. And what I mean earlier when I said that I think Harley Davidson's trying to get back to a Willie G era is, you know, we've been talking about this over the last couple of months. I had a couple of different videos talking about everything going on with Harley, talking about, you know, what Harley's future might look like. Harley Davidson dipping back into the Willie G era would be a very smart thing to do, because as I stated just a few seconds ago, Willie G, even people who don't ride Harley Davidsons know who Willie G Davidson is. He has been slapped all over motorcycle culture for years. You know, building some of the most iconic motorcycles that we've ever ridden, such as the Fat Boy I'm riding right now. And if you're new to the channel, you just found it, this is my 2003 Fat Boy called Big Papa. He is a 100-year anniversary. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what the turnout's going to be on these bikes, because they only built 1,990 of them, celebrating the year 1990. Now I know there's a few shadow models that were sent for riding like dealerships, and they'll all be marked probably 0, -1, -2, and they'll probably end up back in a factory somewhere. I actually reached out to White Lightning the other day, and I thought if White Lightning had one, I would ride down to Chattanooga, or even if Thunder Creek over in Dalton had one, I would ride over to the dealership and just take a look at it and get it on camera. But our dealerships down here don't have one yet, and not to say that they won't get one, but as of right now they don't, because I did a little research on that as to why there might not be any of them out there floating around. And one of the biggest reasons is, guys, is they're selling them. They're selling them. They I know MMJ had went to ride one, and the unaffiliated had talked about it, about how she you know, went and seen one that was already sold, and they said they had another one coming. I'm going to assume that the dealerships aren't going to get them unless you have somebody in your area that have come to your dealership and they've laid down a down payment to buy it. Probably just your standard dealership isn't going to get one. But I'm interested to see how they age, and I say that not on account of the paint. You know, they've got that very special paint process that they did on them that supposedly makes them more tougher than regular paint. But my overall thought of the bike is I think it's just a good looking bike. You know, it's good, and of course Harley has been doing this since 2020 with their Icon collection. They have done a Hydra Glide Icon. They've done a, of course, FRT, which would be the ST. The Lowrider ST was kind of a icon back to the FXRT. So I'm interested to see not only that going forward, as to meaning when the used market comes around, and that's what I meant when I say go forward. I'm interested in seeing how they go forward to see what the used market finds with these bikes. Because we know, I mean, I came from the Sturgis line in 1991. Just because it's a numbered bike and just because it's a special edition bike, you know, eventually you buy it and you're like, I don't ride it, it's just sitting, or I have ridden it, and I want to give somebody else a chance to own one. So they do end up on the used market from time to time. So I'm interested to see how it looks when they end up on the used market. I think that's going to be interesting to see, because unless you just track them and you have more technology sense than I have, you're not going to know where at in the country they've all been sent, or if someone out of country has bought them and if they've shipped a couple, 2 or 3 of them out of country. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play but when they get back into the used market. Now, going forward, the Icon models, you know, again, I'm going to dip back to this talking about the Sportster just a minute. Y'all know where I stand. I think that sometime over the next couple of years, you'll see the Sportster get reintroduced. And before they released this Icon model of the Fat Boy, I had said that it could come out in a special model, kind of like maybe the, you know, like the 72 or the 48. But it could very well be that Harley answered my question without directly answering my question. We could see one of the Nightsters or something like that end up as a Icon model 2027, because again, that's the 75th anniversary of the Sportster. So I still think they're going to play that. I still think that's going to be a card that Harley Davidson's going to play. I think the Sportster's coming back. I hope the Sportster's coming back. I'd love to see something like that. And then I think, again, like I've said, you can go back and watch my older videos. I don't want to rehash it or get too repetitive, but I do think they'll just put it right back into the fold and it'll be back at home. But they can pass emissions tests with them. I saw somebody had made a comment about the old Sportster couldn't pass emissions. Look, if the Milwaukee 8 can pass emissions, the Sportster can pass emissions. So now I don't think that'll be a concern. But you know, people want wind cool twin cylinders. That's, you know, that sound. You know, they don't want to listen to the rumble of an electric motorcycle. And with Harley Davidson dipping into one of the most iconic motorcycles that has a direct link to Willie G. Davidson, I think that right there is going to play a little more than what it normally would have. I think there's going to be a little more to it than just a Icon bike. I would like to see Harley Davidson launch a campaign where they stay with the Willie G designs for a little while. You know, slap his name on something. You know, bring the nostalgia, because, and this is something that don't really get talked about a lot when it comes to Harley Davidson. One of the things with Harley Davidson, and it's culture, heritage, whatever you want to say, but there's nostalgia there. Even they built a motorcycle in the 90s called the Nostalgia. It was a Softail, black and white. Some people called them cow glides, but they weren't the cow glide. But they were called the Harley Davidson Softail Nostalgia. So there's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of yesteryear tied up in Harley Davidson. So I think when you start building Icon models such as the Fat Boy, Grey Ghost that they just did this year, you do Hydra Glides, you do other bikes like that, you're tugging at the heartstrings of nostalgia. And for a younger person, someone in their late teens, early 20s, there's no nostalgia. But if you're wanting to hit back at the core of who your customers are, you know, middle-aged guys, guys coming up into their 30s, late 30s, looking to get away from the, you know, crotch rocket phase or whatever, they're starting to look at the cruisers, and of course the first thing they're going to look at is Harley Davidson. So when you tie nostalgia into your product, you're really laser focusing in on a certain group of people when you do that. Your nostalgia group is the one that's going to keep your company going. I mean, that's what I've seen. It's the nostalgia. Why I like riding older motorcycles, it's for the nostalgia. twin cams, Evos. They are from a time that's gone. The single cam Evo, along with the Harley Davidson buyout of itself back from AMF, a lot of people say that the single cam Evo was the motor that saved Harley. And from what I've seen, from what I've owned of them, the way I've ridden them, I'm not in a position to argue with that logic. The single cam Evo did do a lot for Harley Davidson, and so did the twin cam. The twin cam showed that Harley Davidson could advance and move forward. And then you come up with the Milwaukee 8, and now I personally have never owned a motorcycle with a Milwaukee 8, but I don't hear bad things about them. I hear good things about the Milwaukee 8 engine. But again, it's just Harley having to go back to the drawing board and figure out what it is with their core customers that they're trying to reach for, what it is that they're trying to recapture and relearn about themselves, as it were. It's not just about trying to save the company, and it's not just about trying to get your core group back. This is a time that Harley has to look back at itself and say, who are we? What are we? What has our overall goal been in the motorcycle world? What is the role that we have played in the motorcycle world? And for them to answer that question, they're going to have to sit down and take a little time for self-reflection. And, hey, I don't know how long the Fat Boy Icon was in the plans, but it had to have been a couple years. I'm sure that the Icon models have been mapped out for a little while, but man, everybody loves it. Everybody loves the Grey Ghost Icon Fat Boy that they did this year. So, I give my hats off to Harley Davidson, but self-reflection or not, they got to kind of give in to what it is that people are looking for. And of course, normal people are looking for lower prices. They're looking for cool motorcycles. Younger people are looking for tech. So you got to be able to blend all that again into each other without alienating anyone. And that's a hard game to play. I mean, it's easy to sit here behind this microphone and talk about that. To talk about Harley Davidson not alienating people or alienating itself from a certain demographic of motorcycle rider. But guys, that is a very hard set of plates to keep spinning, especially with technology evolving and everything changing and things going forward and evolution taking over. It's hard, and this is the problem that they're having, is that they did that. They banked so hard on the Livewire, they banked so hard on the Pan America, that the core riders felt like the Harley Davidson had just walked away from them and turned their back on them. So with that, Harley Davidson has to go back to the drawing board, and they have to find out who they are again at self-reflection. And they will. I mean, they will. Like I've said, again, without rehashing out everything, it's in their DNA to fix this. They just have to do it. Alright guys, had to pass through Copper Hill there real quick. New asphalt again. Man, I want to say thank God for Georgia, because this is technically Tennessee. And Georgia finally decided that this road was about 3 rocks away from being a gravel road again. And our public director and our commissioner said, hey, we are offering to pave this road for you and fix it. And thank God Tennessee let them do it, because this is awesome. There hasn't been new pavement on this road, guys. I've been riding this road my whole life. This is the newest asphalt this road has had in, I want to say 94, 95 was the last time this road actually had real asphalt put on it, not just patched. So this is awesome. You know, y'all who have been with me for a while watching my videos and paying attention to the area, y'all know this road right here was a complete freaking disaster. So, but man, this is awesome to be able to ride. I love riding on new asphalt. But anyway, getting back to what's going on with this this Fat Boy Icon. Y'all tell me what you think about it. It seems to be it's being met with a lot of positive press, which is a good thing. There's a lot of positivity going on with it. People are excited about it. They're excited for it. They're excited to see it, because which is what I've been trying to do. But if you're reading between the lines of what's going on with Harley Davidson, this is kind of one of those steps that I was talking about in one of the other videos, where don't just put out a bullshit apology. Let us see you taking steps to doing things right. This, I believe, is one of those steps, because man, this Fat Boy, it's a nice bike. Would I love to ride one? Absolutely. Would I love to own one? Oh my God, yes. But I'm not a new bike buyer. But anyway, that's side point. But anyway, I mean, I think it's a good-looking bike, and it pulls on the nostalgia string, so it's checking off boxes as it goes. I think one of the biggest boxes that it's going to check off is the price box. And here's why I say that. I'm not just throwing that out there for no reason. So the reason I say that, guys, is because this bike isn't priced higher than your standard Fat Boy for this year. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Professional Monkey who said that the Grey Ghost Icon Fat Boy was a couple of grand cheaper, or just a couple of grand more, I mean, than just your standard Fat Boy for 2025. So they didn't take this Icon model and run it up to $40,000 or $50,000. They kept it down there, and I think the baseline's like 24, 25,000, maybe 23. It's really according to the dealership, because the dealers put a lot of markup on these motorcycles. So that's, I think that's another one of the steps that Harley has taken, that they're trying to show that they've come a little way. But there it is, guys, the 2025 Grey Ghost Harley Davidson US Icon. What do y'all think about it? Me personally, I love it. I think it's a great looking bike, and it's, you know, outside of the aesthetics of how it looks and what it sounds like and what it looks like, I think it's showing what I've been talking about for the last couple of months. Harley taking those short steps to get things started. And I tell you what, guys, I think I'm going to call this one shot and get it into the bag. But I hope everybody is ready for summer. It's been a wet spring here in North Georgia. Like I said earlier, it's been raining for the last 6 weeks. But alright, guys, so y'all remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. If you're new here, go back and find some of my older videos, watch them. And if you think I'm right for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. But until the next time, guys, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and hey, thanks for watching.
T-bone roars like a thunderstorm blast. Engine growling as the trees rush past. Wheels on fire carve the mountain's face. The legend rides with a reckless grace. T-bone shadow cuts the sky through the peaks where eagles fly. Leather and steel, he's the king of the trail. On his iron beast, he will never fail. Jagged cliffs, watch him race the wind. Freedom's his curse and his only friend. Gravel sprays like sparks from a flame. Every mile etched with his untamed name. T-bone shadow cuts the sky through the peaks where eagles fly. Leather and steel, he's the king of the trail. On his iron beast, he will never fail. watch him race the wind. Freedom's his curse and his only friend. Gravel sprays like sparks from a flame, every mile etched with his untamed name. T-Bone's shadow cuts the sky, through the peaks where eagles fly. Leather and steel, he's the king of the trail. On his iron beast he will never fail. Smoke and dust swirl in his wake, the earth trembles with each move he makes. The mountains west